Hey, hey, happy day. Johnny Cash had a lot of great songs, but one I really liked was A Boy Named Sue, right? Hey, made me think about this story. This story made me think about Johnny Cash and Sue. In 1958, there was a man in New York who lived in Harlem. His name was Robert Lane, and he had two kids. He named them Winner and Loser. Who does that? It's true. Google it. Wow, who can make this kind of stuff up? But that's what he named them. Hey, winner, come for dinner. Loser, come for dinner. In any event, those kids did grow up, born in 1958. They're older now. And the one named Loser, he's called Lou instead of Loser. He's a detective in the New York City Police Department. He's educated. He's a successful guy. The guy called Winner, he's been in and out of jail numerous times. He's been convicted 33 times for a variety of different things. So you know what I got to tell you? The takeaway is that it's who you are that matters, not what you are called. Kind of a profound statement from the profound person here, don't you know, in California. California, talking about profound or crazy, kind of all of the above. This is what they've done recently. They're always doing something. They being the left-wing wackos that actually are in charge of the state. They're now saying we want to have a law that says you can't drive more than 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. We're going to put governors on every car to make sure that that happens. It's proposed. It's not law yet, but knowing California, it soon will be. What about emergencies? What if you're trying to drive somebody to the hospital? You have a guy in the back seat that had a heart attack. Too bad? Really? I mean, these people. What about, this will contribute to death and all kinds of things, and let alone traffic violations. Hey, kind of hurts the Treasury. They don't have any money. Let people speed. And on the freeways in California, I mean, some of them have a speed limit of 60, 65 miles an hour. Everybody goes 80 because the speed limit should be 80. Another law that is another solution to a problem that doesn't exist because there isn't a problem. Now, you have in British Columbia, Canada, they're similar to California. They're an extension of crazy from the federal government because they're NDP, that's code for socialists, and they're crazy. And they're saying, you guys, you builders, we have a housing crisis because you don't build houses fast enough, so we're going to build houses. I got to think this is all part of their master plan. We're now putting $3 billion into a building plan. We're going to call it the BC Builds Program, and we're going to build houses because the private sector has not been able to deliver. A couple of things there when you do a little drilling down is the permit stage. It's so complicated. They've made it complicated. I wonder if they being the government, wonder if they're going to have to fill out the same forms that developers fill out and builders. I wonder, because if that's the case, their houses won't be built for 100 years because, they're dumb as sticks, and can they really fill out the forms that they created? That's how complicated it is. And then when you have rental properties, a lot of people in the private sector say, why would I build a place to rent to people? Because I have no help here. I mean, if somebody moves out, I have to write them a check, really, for their month's rent, 1 month's rent. I mean, there's no protection for landlords. The people can kick your walls in. They can live there for years and not pay anything, and you don't have any recourse. And now that same government saying, you guys failed, so we're going to do it. Socialism, how do you like it? Here's a lady. I like her. I like the way she writes. Her name is Vicky Dunn. She's of the Christian Heritage Party in Canada. It's interesting. Her latest column, she says, the Marxist-Leninist Party had 177 candidates in the last election in Canada. The Communist Party had a maximum of 100 candidates running, and the Christian Heritage Party had 63. Something really wrong with that picture, because the Christian Heritage Party, even if you're an atheist, you should vote for them, I think. They're good. They're right-wing, they're capitalist, and yet they only field 63 people in the last election. They're asking people to join the battle. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not, or you're right-wing or you're a Christian. You should look at these people. But when you look at it deep and see about what she's saying with the communists and the socialists running, that's a little bit spooky. And maybe Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, should switch over and build those parties, because that's kind of what he is, I think. And one of his ministers, the Prime Minister, he's the Environment Minister, Stephen Gobal or somebody, he says that the federal government will no longer fund municipal road projects because building roads encourages people to use cars. Do you think? I got to repeat that. If we build a road, people might put a car on it. He said the money should instead be spent on fighting climate change. And this is a guy who's in charge of a department. He's very influential in the government. And do you wonder why Canada's failing? I mean, if you build a road, People will put cars on it. It kind of reminds me of the guy in the insane asylum, and he was walking around with a wheelbarrow upside down. A guy came up and said, "You have the wheelbarrow upside down." He said, "No, I don't. If I put it the other way, they put bricks in it." Duh. Hey, the left. They frequently ignore the facts entirely and are large on empathy and emotion. They've mastered the ability to refuse to take any responsibility for the consequences of their failed policies. They simply shrug and claim that it's not their problem, or say that their programs were underfunded. Predictably, the media gives them a pass, particularly in Canada, because of course they own the press, usually suggesting that at least their heart was in the right place. We are left speechless, and we move on. Duh. The left is an interesting group. They are narrow-minded, with little to no room in their skulls for facts and evidence. Scientists are working on a cure. We're hopeful. Hey. Lastly, I got this in Madagascar. The Parliament passed a law saying that people who rape children, we're going to castrate them, and they're doing that, and a lot of the people on the left are screaming. They're saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do that," and the government's saying it will deter people from doing this. We've had, almost 1,000 reported rapes a year, and it will deter people. I got a couple of comments on that. One, it won't deter people, not at all. I mean, you need to give them capital punishment, because in the animal kingdom, if you castrate a stallion, for instance, or a bull, and if you don't do it right, it's called cut proud, they still act like they're the real deal, right? So these people do a bad thing, take away the innocence of a child, boomity boom, see you later, you should die now. And I just, when you normalize, sexual violence and minimize the seriousness of the crime, they're getting past that a little bit with this castration thing. I get it, but they should take it a step further, right? Right. Hey, just saying, y'all come back. See ya.